Welcome to another edition of this assembly with your host. I am the servant of Yahuwah Soya, and last time we left off, we was in Bere'Shiyth chapter 27, verse 20. Now we're going to pick it up with verse 21 through verse 23. And before I do, I just say thank you to the Father, the only one in heaven, to whom we should give our praise, bend our knee, and worship. That being said, for those of you who have eyes to see, ears to hear, let him both see and hear, because there's going to be a lot of that needed coming up in these verses. Let's also use our imagination. Let's put ourselves in their situation, that our Father may show us with our own eyes what was taking place here, but let us see it today. All right, verses 21 through 23. And Yitzchak said unto Yaakov, come near, I pray you, that I may feel you, my son, whether you be my very son Esau or not. And Yaakov went near unto Yitzchak, his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice is Yaakov's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands, so he blessed him. Now Yitzchak is very suspicious of whom he was dealing with. He is somewhat convinced that he hears his son Yaakov, but his senses are failing him, and he cannot fully trust them. Therefore, he is putting his trust in the honesty of his son. The problem is, his son inherited his penchant for deception, is aided by his mother, and is quite intent on getting this blessing said to him. It is disappointing to see a son deceive his father in such a way. All things are eventually found out. If his father discovers his deception, he will be completely hurt and disappointed. But the deception planned by Rivka and he was thorough. It's such that they set out to deceive all of Yitzchak's senses. He could not see, so they used that against him, along with the fact that his other senses were now dull, and his ability to reason and discern were not nearly as sharp as when he were younger. So they deceived his sense of touch, smell, taste, and overall his sense of trust. That's deep. And he said, sorry, I had a computer malfunction. Are you my very son Esau? And he said, I am. After trying and failing with all his senses, Yitzchak resorted to his final sense, trust, and his son used it against him. He lied to his dying father of who he was. Who would you lie to, and would the circumstances matter? Here, Yaakov did not mind that his father was dying, old, and losing his senses. In fact, those circumstances aided him in this scheme. His mother and he knew this. So beware of who may be lying to you when you are at your most vulnerable. It just may be someone you trust. Verse 25, and he said, bring it near me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless you. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Rivka knew just how to prepare food such that it deceived her man. She knew him so well that she was sure she could prepare young goats in a way that they taste like deer. How well does your partner know you? Could you be deceived in this manner or any other manner? Now, also, I want to point out that Yitzchak said that not only will he eat of his son's venison, but that his soul will bless him. Now I want to go back in scripture, chapter 2, where it says, man became a living soul. So whatever Yitzchak meant, he is a living soul. And so that he, a living soul, will bless him. All right, verse 26. And his father Yitzchak said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. Verses 27 through 29. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which Yahuwah has blessed. Therefore, Elohim give you of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brethren and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone that curses you, and blessed be he that blesses you. Now, before I get in that, I want to touch on that verse 27, where Yitzchak smelled Yaakov. He said that, where he said he smelled like a field. Whew. Now, to me, it sounded like he said he stank. But hey, it may have been a field of flowers and posies and, you know, honeysuckle. I don't think so. I think he stink. So that's to say that Esau had a odoriferous smell. All right. Anyway, Yaakov went near his father. Yitzchak smelled him. He was used to Esau having the smell of outdoors on him. This seems like an interesting way to say he stank like animals. Esau was a hunter. Therefore, it was seen that he spent plenty of time in the fields, whether it be for hunting or practice, perfecting his skills. He may have also exercised in the fields to stay strong and keep his endurance up for the hunt. It would have been normal for him to stink and no one not really think much of it because it was him. Also, as a hunter, for him to stink, to smell like outdoors, meant that it was less likely that his prey would get his scent and know that there was a predator nearby hunting them. Animals do that. And Yitzchak related this outdoor smell with him. Because of his success as a hunter, he related it to being in a field blessed by Yahuwah. After all, only a field blessed by Yahuwah could provide the abundance of healthy game that Esau brought back successfully. After he thought he had confirmed his son Esau, he blessed him. He blessed him with all the good things of Yahuwah, waters from heaven. That could have been both symbolic and literal. Symbolic in that he would receive plenty and abundance of good things in every area of life, to be brief. Literal in that he would not thirst. The earth would provide him with all her good things, meat and plants to eat, precious things like jewels, metals, gold, silver, brass, copper, other metals, trees for wood. You eat trees, something wrong with you. Mud for mortar, all that the earth could provide, he would receive an abundance of it. He will also have plenty of grain to eat and wine to drink. He will have things of pleasure too. And finally, he would be served by other people. Peoples of all nations would recognize his greatness and bow to him and his talents, abilities, his blessings. Now, don't necessarily mean him. Don't forget the covenant. So what this likely meant is that in his generations, his descendants would be looked upon favorably and served by others. He will rule over his mother's sons, his brothers. And if anyone should dare to curse him, they will be cursed. And if anyone blessed him, they too would be blessed. The end for later. This was more than a blessing. This was a prophecy. And it was prophetic not only for him directly, but to his descendants. Yaakov's descendants have had much due of heaven, both figuratively and literally. After all, what people got water out of rocks? His lands have been exceedingly bountiful as well. The nation Yasharel was blessed in wealth. When Yasharel was dispersed abroad, those lands too were rich in blessing. Africa has been raped for her wealth of gold, silver, jewels, and so forth. These are things for Yaakov's descendants. They are being taken away from his people. There is oil in those lands too, boundless areas of trees and ores, animals for the hunt. Africa is rich in all areas for a man to prosper. For Yaakov, Jacob's descendants, to prosper. And all other people marvel at the talents of Yaakov's descendants. They first marvel at his intellect and skills. The wisdom in all areas of living was usurped of Yaakov. Their skills were well known, discovered, and used by many nations around the world. His natural talents in entertainment is still marveled at today. Singing, dancing, athletics, music, all of this was a prophetic blessing over Yaakov and his descendants, his generations. And it came to pass, verse 30, as soon as Yitzchak had made an end of blessing Yaakov, and Yaakov was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Yitzchak his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. Verses 31 and 32. And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that your soul may bless me. And Yitzchak his father said unto him, who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn, Esau. I can picture this moment in my mind. This is a truly heartbreaking moment between the father and his favorite son. You can almost hear the confusion and pain in his voice when he asked whom was speaking. He knew it was Esau. He knew his voice. And right away he knew that his apprehension before was correct and that he had been deceived. Unless you be deceived, we're going to end right here and we're going to pick it up with verse 33 on the next episode of this assembly. I am your host of Yahweh Soyah. Hope you enjoyed this good day.